that the U.S. should renegotiate long-term debt and persuade our creditors less than full payment on the bills. Now, do you know who else does that? Greece. Greece says, we can't pay our bills. We need to give you guys pennies on the dollar. Do you know who else does that? Big-time developers, right? That's what Donald Trump does. He borrows money. If it works, great, he makes a fortune. If it doesn't work, he goes back to the bank and says, look, I owe you, $500 million, $400 million, $20 million? How about I give you $5 and we call it even? And the banks are like, well, we'll rather take $5 than nothing. So there's no consequences to his actions. And so you can't do this as a government. This is why when they say we need a person who knows how to run a business to run the government is sometimes a really bad idea, because Donald Trump just goes into bankruptcy. He's never declared bankruptcy. His business has 4 times. You can walk away from buying a building. You just can't walk away from China. You can't tell people who hold United States bonds that the full faith and credit of the United States no longer is guaranteed. You know that we have never defaulted? Never, ever, ever. Our word, right? That's why we are the gold standard. That's why everybody uses dollars. That's why America is what it is because we can borrow. It's because you're not going to give somebody money if you don't think you're going to get it back, right? You wouldn't put money when the world was imploding, right? When there was a run on the banks, where did everybody put their money as a safe haven? In the United States government, because you want your money back. You didn't put it in Greece bonds because there was a question of whether or not you were going to get your money back. So of all the news this last week, the fact that he goes on CNBC, a business channel, and said the presumptive Republican nominee goes on a business channel and says, we need to persuade our creditors to accept less than full payment. I'm sorry, that's kind of a big deal. And I can't believe that's not getting more attention. The fact that Donald Trump wants to not pay back in full our creditors, our national debt. It works when you're a buffoon billionaire who's building buildings on Fifth Avenue. You can get all sorts of tax breaks and all sorts of tax cuts, and if it doesn't work out, you can renegotiate your debt and give the bank back pennies on the dollar. But you can't do that when you're president of the United States. You can't just say, you know what, China, I'm walking away. I don't want to deal with it. You can't not deal with China. So to me, that's a bigger deal, that one of our presidential candidates doesn't want to repay our debt. He wants us to be like Greece, like Argentina, like Mexico. Unbelievable. 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. Those are the phone numbers. But we've been arguing behind the